Hey everyone, welcome back to the Chefpreneur YouTube channel for part 2 of why personal accountability is vital to success. I hope you guys were able to watch part 1, which I released last week. Here is part 2. I hope you guys enjoy it. Some people, and this is not for anybody in particular. If this is hitting, whether it's touching, Magdalise, whether it's touching Elizabeth, I don't know. We'll talk about that in a minute. Whether it's touching anybody watching this recording, honestly, I'm more speaking for myself though. Every time I do these, it's not like I'm not hearing what I'm saying. I don't want to be a hypocrite. Like a lot of times when I'm telling you guys this advice, I'm also over here trying my hardest to follow this advice too, because it's not easy. It's really easy to make excuses, really easy to pass the blame. It's really easy to do that. It takes no IQ. It takes no form of commitment or discipline to do that. It's really easy. It's honestly like it's a cop-out. It's easy. It's easy. Whether it's with our kids, with anything. Think about anything in life. It's like when you accept responsibility, usually there's better results. If my daughter's mouthing off, there's going to be discipline, but then I have to sit there and say, are we disciplining her enough? Are we being strict with her enough to know? Have we not communicated properly that she shouldn't be mouthing off like that to mom? You see, true leadership and true accountability always goes back to you. What could I have done better? What could I be doing better? Now, here's a new flash for you. I don't want to make this like an impossible thing, because none of us are perfect, so we're never going to be perfect. This will always be a true statement for all of us. We will never be perfect. We will never get it right 100% of the time. Shoot, we probably won't even get it right 90% of the time. Like even Dave Ramsey is not perfect at finances. No one's perfect. No one is. I'm trying to think of somebody really fit, which there's a lot of people really fit, but like, I don't know, Michael Phelps, okay? Really good swimmer, not a perfect swimmer. There's no such thing as perfection in that sense. But if you wake up every day and you say, what could I do better today? What can I hold myself more accountable for today? Am I really doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Am I even following Chef Andres' advice? Am I following Chefpreneur's advice? Am I following, maybe you have a friend who's, I always say this too, is like also confide in people that have results, right? Success leaves clues. So one of the reasons you guys invested in a program with Chefpreneur is because we have results in this particular kind of business. Not only do we have results for ourselves, we have results for hundreds of people already as well. We've helped people start this business and they're doing it successfully. But not everybody in Chefpreneur that takes our programs are going to have results, because there's two sides of it. There's what we offer, but there's there's also what they do. Like we talked about, we can give you as much wisdom and knowledge until I'm blue in the face, but if you don't take action and do it, it's not going to work for you. It just won't. Again, I can read as many weight loss books as I want, but if I take no action, I'm going to remain fat. It's just facts of life. And again, I'm just trying to get you guys, it's just been on my heart, because it's not about trying to pass blame either. It's not about, because again, people, I know anybody who's watching this call or who's on it right now, like you've had people pass the blame onto you, you've passed the blame onto somebody else. And sometimes there's validation to that. Sometimes there is things that people do that screwed something up 100%. But then if you even go one level further, now this is next level here. I want you to stay with me. There is times where people will screw somebody else over, or there is things that are going to be out of your control that are going to happen where there's validation that they legitimately like made you late for the plane, right? Like I'll just use that as a simple example. You get to the airport 3 hours early, you did everything right, you checked your bags, all that stuff. But then all of a sudden, the plane that you're taking, let's say you're flying from San Diego to New York City, and you're stopping in Dallas on the way. So I'm sitting there in the San Diego airport. I arrived 3 hours early. I did everything right. My bag was perfect. I'm there. I'm sitting up there. I'm 2 seats away from the gate, and I got a whole 2 hours to wait. I have done everything right. But the plane comes into San Diego from Mexico an hour and 15 minutes late because of a rainstorm. You will now be late for your flight in Dallas. You're probably going to miss your flight in Dallas. Was it your fault? Not at all. But here's where you can take this mental tactic and still apply it in this situation. It's like, well, Chef, how can I apply it? It wasn't my fault. Well, I'm not asking you to take the fault, but you still have a responsibility. And let me tell you what that is. It's how you react. How are you going to react with your plane being late? Are you going to lose your shit? Are you going to lose your cool? Are you going to start now treating the gate person like it's their fault? Are you going to mouth off to the ticket lady? Are you going to have a chip on your shoulder for the rest of the day? Or are you going to be able to regain control and say, you know what? It's unfortunate. It sucks, but it is what it is. It's a good day. I'm breathing air. I'm alive. I'm grateful. You know what? Hey, they're going to upgrade me on my next flight anyway. So, hey, that's cool. Now I get first class. I'll get to the hotel a little late when I get to New York. Whatever. We still have a responsibility of how we even react to situations that are not intended to be our fault. If you start living your life like this, stress comes down, anxiety comes down, and success goes through the roof. My opinion, a successful person is somebody who truly takes accountability. When's the last time you've seen a truly successful person blame everything? Blame everything and everybody. That's a weak leader, and it's not, in my opinion, that's not a person of success. Think of any successful person in your mind that's going to play a blame game. It really doesn't exist when you really think about it for a minute. Maybe politicians get in there, but even that is just, it's rhetoric, right? But a real leader would stand up there and say, listen, although this might have been caused something out of my control, I'm now in office and it's my turn to now give my all to help fix the situation. Or when you're dealing with, if you've ever had a job, which most of us have, of course, and there's always the employee or there's always the coworker that's complaining nonstop, complain. And you almost want to turn to them and say, what are you going to do about it? Oh, it just seems like nobody ever takes the trash out. Well, then why don't you take the trash out and you solve the problem? Oh, no. Well, somebody else should do that. I'm just here to complain about it. You could either be part of the problem or you can be part of the solution or be the solution. And a successful person is always saying, I want to be the solution. I know it's a sensitive subject. I don't know if I'm stepping on anybody's toes, but I'm saying this with love. You have to understand where I'm coming from. For anybody watching this recording, anybody from the two ladies that are on today, this is not anybody particular. In fact, this message can be directly for me. We all need to hear this. This is not to offend anybody. This is not to hurt anybody. The truth sets people free. I'm trying to tell you the truth with love. I've learned this the hard way. I feel miserable when I start passing blame. I feel like I lose control because I do. And it's impossible for us to say we want to be in control of our future and our destiny, but then we want to give that piece of clay to somebody else. It doesn't make sense. It's counterintuitive. When you want full control of your destiny, then you take full responsibility. It's part of it. It is part of it. It is all of it, really. And, I go upstairs, I talk to my wife, and I always ask her, babe, this crazy chefpreneur journey I've been on as an entrepreneur for now 10 years, going on 10 years, Dinner with a Chef is doing really well. Chefpreneur, we're stretching it. We're tight. We're making a lot of investments. There's some scary things on the back end, on the money side, where it's like, man, we're investing everything we got, to be transparent with you. But it's also exciting. And I asked my wife, are you nervous? Like, do you feel anxious? And she's like, nope. And here's what she told me, because babe, I know how you operate. You won't stop until it happens. You see, I'm not going to stop in Chefpreneur. I'm not going to stop in Dinner with a Chef. Anything I would ever start, I'm not going to stop until it gets to a point that I want it to be. That's ambition, that's grit, but it goes along with accountability. Because if I sit there and say, what am I not doing? What do I need to do? And then I start doing those things, guess what happens? Things move forward. So sometimes things aren't working in Chefpreneur because of my mistakes. 100%. Actually, a lot of them have probably because of been of me. I'm the CEO. Ultimately, it's my responsibility, whether it's indirectly from a member of my team or whether whatever. When Chef Daniel Ferdui, my executive chef, goes out and he doesn't offer this, but let's say he offered a bad service. I mean, I've had him go to people's houses and they were, oh, your chef came in here and broke my cabinet, even though he took a picture right when he got in there and they have a big sign saying, do not touch cabinet. And he's like, I didn't even touch it. And all of a sudden I broke it. Okay. You know, and I believe the chef that I've known now for 6 years, as opposed to a lady that's just yelling to me over the phone as a client. Regardless if, let's say, Chef Daniel did break it, he represents Dinner with a Chef. It's not, oh, it's all Daniel's fault. No, I am the CEO. I am the founder. I'm the owner of Dinner with a Chef. It is my responsibility. He's not going to pay it out of his own pocket. I am. It's my company. I take responsibility. This actually happened, by the way. This was actually a real situation. And then the lady's like, well, I want a discount. I had to hire somebody that cost me $120 to come fix my cupboard, blah, blah, blah. I asked Daniel, I said, can you just give me a written statement of what happened? He's like, here's what happened, chef. I didn't even touch it. She opened it twice. He put that in a statement. I just told the lady, I said, you know what? I appreciate what you're saying. And here's what I'm going to do. We apologize. This is what I literally said. I have the email to prove it. Cause it was a weird situation. The person who lived there was like her cousin, but the lady who paid for it was in Singapore. So it was very odd. I was like having to talk to her long distance at night when it was like morning for her. And I'm like, I apologize that the cabinet was broken. I am not apologizing because I don't believe that. I trust my chef, and you have to see where I'm coming from, ma'am. I trust my team to say that you know, he didn't touch it, but we don't want to sit here and play blame games or anything like that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and take off that $120 for the cupboard from our services. And some people will say, well, you're laying down. Am I really going to lose sleep over $120? I believe my chef. He didn't touch it. Even Chef Daniel was like, why are you going to pay for it? I'm like, why? Because overall, I'm responsible for the face of my company. And I'd rather her just say, now I was very clear in my email. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to deduct $120 from the service, but that's all I'm going to do. Anything moving forward, there's going to be no additional discounts or anything like that. I'm giving you exactly what you're wanting. And if you don't mind, I'd just love for you to send me an email back saying that it's been resolved. And we hoped we could serve you guys again. Here's what was her tone when she replied back. Thank you so much. I appreciate your professionalism. We will still recommend you to others. And thank you so much for working with us. Now, she could have just been wanting to get a $120 discount. I don't know. If that is, I feel more sorry for her and more petty for her, but I would rather move on. I'm not going to sit here and fight over 120. It's stupid. 12,000, that's a different story. $120, nah. So again, wasn't our fault. People are, why did you accept responsibility? Because as a CEO, as a founder, I have to save face of Dinner with a Chef. I have to make sure our reputation is high because it affects my team. It affects my clients. It affects the people booking through us. It affects our reputation. So if it's going to take $120 to make her happy, I paid a lot more for a lot less, to be honest. Get it done. Move on. She's done. She paid the final invoice with the minus 120 on there. We move forward. God bless her. We love her. Hopefully your cabinet doesn't break again. So that was what I wanted to talk to you guys about today, because I feel like it's very important. I know it can feel a little stingy, but I'm telling you, when you make this transition in every part of your life, every part of your life. Well, I want a better, marriage. I want a better relationship with my kids. Okay, well, then take the responsibility. And how can we make that happen? How can we work on things? It's been something that I've been working on in my life for a while, and it truly has set me free. It comes with challenges. It comes with pain. But I'm going to use a quote from good old Uncle Dave Ramsey, because here's what I do. Here's what I do like. One thing that I really like what he says. He says, the best part about it being that it's your problem is that you're also the solution. And that's so true. If somebody else is the problem, you can't fix somebody else. There's going to be an uphill battle. And so I try to approach everything. If you ever read of the book called The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell, one of my most favorite books, I love what he says in one of the rules. Everything starts and ends with leadership. And then he goes into the chapter talking about accountability. Even if it was one of your team members that made a boneheaded move, you as a leader are responsible. And if you think that way already, you're already a successful leader, because now you're taking on full responsibility. And there's something about that. Clients love it when you take responsibility. There was one instance, I'll leave you with this story, and then I can open it up here for the last few minutes. And one story I had of a client, she didn't say anything. And actually, this is a good example. It was involving Chef Daniel. Chef Daniel has cooked for this client. This client has been a client of ours. In fact, the podcast episode where I say I get to cook in a 17,000 square foot home where her daughter, tried to book me and I'm going to another chef. This is the client I'm talking about. He recently did an event. I think it was the beginning of this year, closer to the beginning of this year for them for a birthday. And Chef Daniel, sometimes periodically he'll send me pictures, especially of clients that I personally have cooked for and I know. And he sent me pictures of them, and he was sending me pictures of the food, and it was great. And on one of the pictures, I saw his lamb chop, and it was like rare, like very rare. And so I called Chef Daniel. I said, "Hey, brother, like the plate up looks great. Food looks great. I'm glad it looks like you had a great time." I said, "The lamb looks a bit raw. Like, chef, what happened?" And he's like, "Oh, you know what? I was having troubles with the ovens." I said, "Oh, it looks pretty raw." You know what I did? I called Brenda Cosio, my client. I called her. I said, "How was everything?" She goes, "Oh, everything was phenomenal." She's just so nice, so she didn't even want to mention it. I said, "You know what? I saw some pictures that the lamb looked pretty raw." And I talked to Chef Daniel about it. He had some, she was, "You know what? It was a little raw, but it was okay. Like, he did heat up a couple pieces for a couple people." I said, "Well, I want to apologize about that." And honestly, like Daniel as well, like wants to apologize about that. I know you didn't mention a discount, but I'd like to take a little something off for you guys. And she's like, "Chef, you don't have to do that." I said, "I don't have to do anything." I said, "But it's the right thing to do." I took accountability and responsibility. Do you know that solidified even more? She goes, "You know what? I'm so impressed." I get a phone call from her husband. Her husband is a big time successful businessman. He calls me like literally 15 minutes later. He says, "Hey, I heard about what you did for us." He goes, "Chef, you didn't have to do that." I said, "No, I know that." He goes, "But I wanted to call you personally." I said, "I know. What do I owe this honor?" Like, Chris, his name is Chris. I was like, I don't ever get to talk to you very often. Like, he's a busy, successful, big time real estate guy. I mean, he manages over 1 point something billion of real estate. They're very, very wealthy. He said, "I just wanted to tell you that what you did, that was a world-class," this is what he said, "that was a world-class business act that you just did." I said, "Oh, thank you." He goes, No, I'm being serious." He goes, "There's multi-billionaires that I've worked with that don't even have that level of world-class businessman in them." He says, "The fact that you did that, you took initiative to say, 'Hey, I don't like how that turned out. And although that we didn't ask for a discount, you provided one,' just shows me that you take full responsibility for your company." And he goes, "And honestly, I wanted to give you kudos personally." That to me was worth way more than the discount, because to have a successful man whose net worth is, I mean, I don't know if he's a billionaire or not. He's definitely probably at least worth $500 million. I mean, they have their own private plane. I mean, they're very well off. To have someone of his stature, till old Chef Andres, that was a world-class business move, that really made me very happy. And I remember that, and I just, honestly, again, we're not all perfect. We're not going to always hit it every time. I'm not telling you for every little thing you do wrong, go give discounts to every one of your clients. But sometimes when you really knowingly know, yeah, we should do something for them, right? Like that's not, it might just even be, you know, hey, can I just come by your house and bring you a bottle of champagne? I felt like the salmon wasn't fully cooked as well as I wanted it to be. And I apologize. I just bring you a gift. You know, sometimes you don't even have to bring them, you know, refund money. Just all that stuff, all to lead you to understand, to accept responsibility. That level of thinking is the mindset I want you to have. In order for you to be very successful in life, that's the mindset that you have to have. And you guys have already done a phenomenal job by saying, I'm going to take my freedom and I'm going to put it in my own hands. I'm going to start this business and I want to go for it. So you guys are already on your way. You've already made that decision to say, I want to be accountable for my future. And I'm just trying to teach you how to go that next level in your mindset so you can truly experience success like you never have before. Hey, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed that video, part 2 of why personal accountability is vital for success. Hey, if you're liking the content I'm putting out, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and hit that bell for notifications, as I'm going to be coming out with more great content for all of you. I hope to see you guys next week and on my next video. Take care. God bless. We'll talk to you soon.